The galactic stage. For millennia, the vast expanse of the Milky Way had been torn asunder by conflict. Two colossal alien empires, the Zarkin Imperium and the Elysian Confederation, waged an endless war across the stars. Their battles raged across countless worlds, leaving devastation in their wake. Advanced technologies beyond human comprehension clashed in cosmic struggles that reshaped entire solar systems. The Zarkin, a militaristic race of silicon-based lifeforms, sought to bring order to the galaxy through absolute control. Their empire stretched across thousands of light years, built on the backs of conquered species and stripped worlds. Their ships, resembling crystalline structures that defied conventional physics, struck fear into the hearts of all who opposed them. On the other side stood the Elysians, a collective of carbon-based species united under the banner of freedom and self-determination. Their worlds were havens of biodiversity, their ships living marvels of bioengineering. The Elysians fought not just for their own survival, but for the right of all sentient beings to chart their own destiny. Between these titans, countless smaller civilizations struggled to survive. Some pledged allegiance to one side or the other, while others desperately tried to maintain neutrality. The war had become a fact of cosmic life, as constant as the stars themselves. And then there was Earth. Nestled in an unremarkable spiral arm of the galaxy, humanity had only recently taken its first tentative steps into interstellar space. To the great powers that be, Earth was little more than a cosmic backwater, its inhabitants barely worth acknowledging. Humans were seen as primitive curiosities at best, potential cannon fodder at worst. Dr. Elena Reyes, lead cynoanthropologist at the United Earth Space Agency, stared at the holographic display dominating her office. It showed the latest galactic map, vast swathes of space, marked in the crimson of the Zarkin or the emerald of the Elysians. Earth's territory was a tiny blue speck, almost lost amidst the cosmic tapestry. Another Elysian outpost has fallen, her assistant, Jack Chen, reported grimly. The Zarkin pushed through the Orion Arm defenses. They're getting closer to our sector. Elena's brow furrowed. And still no response to our diplomatic overtures. Jack shook his head. Both sides consider us too insignificant to bother with. The Galactic Council won't even grant us observer status. A bitter laugh escaped Elena's lips. Observer status. We're lucky they haven't decided to use Earth as a battlefield yet. The situation seemed hopeless. Humanity possessed faster-than-light travel, yes, but their ships were slow and cumbersome compared to the alien fleets. They had energy weapons and shields, but nothing that could stand up to the planet-cracking arsenals of the warring empires. By all conventional metrics, Earth was helpless. But conventional metrics failed to account for humanity's greatest strengths. In secret laboratories beneath the Mariana Trench and hidden bases on the far side of the moon, Earth's brightest minds worked tirelessly. They pored over every scrap of alien technology they could salvage, every intercepted transmission they could decode. Slowly but surely, they began to understand the fundamental principles behind the seemingly magical abilities of their galactic neighbors. More importantly, they began to see the flaws. Captain Sarah Martinez stood on the bridge of the UES Defiant, Earth's most advanced warship. To alien eyes, it would have looked woefully outmatched, a mere frigate compared to the city-sized dreadnoughts of the Zarkin and Elysians. But appearances could be deceiving. Status report, Sarah barked, her eyes never leaving the tactical display. Her XO, a grizzled veteran named Michael Okonkwo, responded crisply. All systems nominal, Captain. Quantum camouflage is holding steady. As far as anyone out there is concerned, we're just another piece of space debris. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. The quantum camouflage was just one of many innovations that gave humanity an edge. It didn't just hide their ships from sensors. It made them virtually undetectable to the naked eye as well. Combined with their breakthroughs in gravity manipulation and energy focusing, Earth's fleet was far more formidable than anyone suspected. And our special package? Sarah asked, her voice low. Michael's expression turned grave. "Secure in the hold, ma'am. I still can't believe we're actually going through with this." Sarah understood his apprehension. What they carried had the potential to change the course of the war, and with it, the fate of the galaxy. It was a desperate gamble, but one that Earth's leaders had deemed necessary. As the Defiant silently glided through the void, Sarah reflected on the chain of events that had led them to this point. It had started with a discovery in the ruins of an ancient alien outpost on Mars. The data they uncovered hinted at a terrible truth behind the ongoing conflict, a secret that both the Zarkin and Elysians would do anything to keep buried. Now, humanity prepared to unveil that secret to the galaxy at large. The consequences would be earth-shattering, but it was a risk they had to take. The alternative was to sit idly by as the war crept ever closer to their home. "Captain," the sensor officer called out suddenly, "we're picking up a massive energy surge. Looks like a battle is about to begin." Sarah's jaw clenched. This was it, the moment they had been waiting for. As titanic fleets of Zarkin and Elysian warships prepared to clash, the tiny human vessel slipped unnoticed between them. "All hands, battle stations," Sarah ordered, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "May whatever gods are out there have mercy on us all, because what we're about to do will change everything." As klaxons blared throughout the ship, Sarah allowed herself one last moment of doubt. Were they doing the right thing? Could humanity really hope to make a difference in a conflict that had raged for longer than their entire civilization had existed? But as she looked at the determined faces of her crew, Sarah knew the answer. Humanity might be young, they might be outnumbered and outgunned, but they possessed a spirit that neither the Zarkin nor the Elysians could match. A spirit of innovation, of adaptation, of sheer stubborn refusal to go quietly into the night. The battle was about to begin, and with it, humanity's moment to step onto the galactic stage had finally arrived. The unexpected invitation. The skies above New Beijing erupted in a dazzling display of light and color. To the untrained eye, it might have been mistaken for an elaborate fireworks show. But Dr. Elena Reyes knew better. This was no celebration. It was a battle. High above the Earth's atmosphere, a small Elysian task force clashed with a Zarkin scout fleet. Energy beams lanced across the void, while swarms of self-replicating nanite weapons sought out vulnerable systems. It was a minor skirmish by the standards of the Galactic War, but it marked a terrifying new reality. The conflict had finally reached humanity's doorstep. In the United Earth Defense Council's underground bunker, tensions ran high. Military leaders argued strategy while politicians debated policy. Through it all, Elena struggled to make her voice heard. "We can't just sit here and do nothing," she shouted, slamming her fist on the conference table. "Every moment we waste is a moment closer to annihilation." General Aisha Khoury, Supreme Commander of Earth's military forces, fixed Elena with a steely gaze. "And what would you have us do, Doctor? Our most advanced ships are toys compared to what's fighting up there. If we reveal ourselves now, we'll be crushed like insects." Elena took a deep breath, steadying herself. "We don't need to fight them head-on. We have something they don't, something they've forgotten in their millennia of conflict." "And what's that?" a skeptical voice called out. "Creativity," Elena replied. "The ability to think outside the box, to see solutions where others see only problems." Before anyone could respond, an aide burst into the room. "Sirs, we're receiving a transmission from the Elysian flagship." The room fell silent as the main view screen flickered to life. The image that appeared was both beautiful and alien, a being of swirling energy contained within a vaguely humanoid shell of living crystal. This was High Admiral Zephyria, leader of the Elysian forces in this sector. "People of Earth," the alien's voice resonated in their minds rather than their ears. "We have long observed your world from afar. Now, in our hour of need, we extend an invitation. Join us in our fight against the Zarkin tyranny. Help us preserve freedom in the galaxy." Murmurs of surprise and confusion rippled through the assembled leaders. This was unprecedented. Neither side had ever deigned to acknowledge humanity as anything more than a primitive curiosity. Alina's mind raced. This was an opportunity, yes, but also a trap. The Elysians didn't truly respect humanity. They simply needed cannon fodder to throw at their enemies. But perhaps... She stepped forward, her voice clear and confident. High Admiral Zephyria, we are honored by your invitation. Humanity has long dreamed of taking its place among the stars. We accept your offer of alliance. Ignoring the shocked expressions of those around her, Alina continued. However, we will need time to prepare our forces. Our technology is not yet compatible with your own. Grant us one standard galactic month, and we will join your fleet with ships and soldiers ready for battle. There was a long pause as the Elysian leader considered this request. Finally, Zephyria nodded. Very well. 1 month by the old calendar. We will return then to integrate your forces into our own. Do not disappoint us, humans. As the transmission ended, chaos erupted in the bunker. Accusations of treason mingled with cries of excitement and fear. But Alina stood firm, a small smile playing at the corners of her mouth. General Curry approached her, eyes narrowed. You better have a damn good explanation for this, Reyes. Alina's smile widened. Oh, I do, General. Gather everyone with top-level clearance. It's time to unveil Project Prometheus. Hours later, in a secure briefing room deep beneath the Mariana Trench, Earth's top military and scientific minds assembled. The mood was tense as Alina took the podium. Ladies and gentlemen, she began. For years, we've been preparing for this moment. While the galaxy at large saw us as primitives, we've been quietly revolutionizing our understanding of physics, biology, and information theory. Project Prometheus is the culmination of those efforts. With a gesture, Alina brought up a holographic display. It showed schematics for ships unlike anything in Earth's known arsenal, sleek, adaptable craft that seemed to defy conventional design philosophies. These vessels, Alina explained, incorporate technology reverse-engineered from both Zarkin and Elysian salvage. But more than that, they represent a fundamental leap forward in our approach to warfare. She highlighted key systems, quantum entanglement communicators that were impossible to intercept, adaptive hull materials that could reconfigure on the fly, and weapons that manipulated the fabric of space-time itself. But our greatest weapon, Alina continued, her voice filled with pride, is this. The display shifted, showing what appeared to be a simple headset. Murmurs of confusion rippled through the audience. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Neural Interface Tactical Augmentation System, NITAS for short. It allows a human mind to interface directly with our ships and weapons systems at a level of speed and precision that neither the Zarkin nor the Elysians can match. The implications were staggering. Humanity's biological neural networks, combined with their AI systems, could process information and make decisions faster than the crystal-based computing of the Zarkin or the organic tech of the Elysians. We've been underestimated, dismissed as irrelevant. Alina's voice rose with passion. But that ends now. In 1 month, we'll show the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of. As the briefing continued, outlining strategies and contingencies, a spark of hope began to ignite in the hearts of Earth's leaders. They were taking an enormous risk, yes, but the potential rewards were equally immense. In shipyards hidden beneath the oceans and within hollowed-out asteroids, construction began at a feverish pace. Volunteers from every nation on Earth stepped forward to undergo the grueling training necessary to use the NITS system effectively. And all the while, Alina and her team worked tirelessly to refine their plans. They knew that humanity would have only one shot at this. If they failed, Earth would likely be reduced to ash by whichever side felt more insulted by their presumption. But if they succeeded, if they could end this war and secure humanity's place among the stars, the fate of not just Earth, but the entire galaxy hung in the balance. And the clock was ticking. Operation Trojan Horse. The Elysian fleet arrived precisely one standard galactic month after their initial contact, just as promised. Their massive ships, resembling great bioluminescent whales swimming through the void, took up position around Earth's orbit. To the Elysian commanders, the pitiful collection of small, boxy human vessels that rose to meet them was almost comical. High Admiral Zephyria's voice resonated across all communication channels. "People of Earth, the time has come to prove your worth. Join our formation and prepare to face the enemy." What the Elysians couldn't see, however, was the gleam in the eyes of the human pilots as they acknowledged the order. Beneath their simple exterior shells, the Terran ships hummed with potential, their true nature hidden by advanced cloaking technology. Aboard the flagship of the human fleet, the UES Achilles, Captain Sarah Martinez stood at the helm. The Neural Interface Tactical Augmentation System hummed softly as it linked her consciousness directly to the ship's systems. Every member of her crew was similarly connected, their minds working in perfect harmony with the vessel's eye. "All ships, report in," Sarah vocalized. The command transmitted instantly through quantum entanglement. One by one, the captains of Earth's hidden fleet confirmed their readiness. Each vessel was a masterpiece of human ingenuity, incorporating reverse-engineered alien tech with uniquely human innovations. As the combined Elysian-human armada moved out to face an incoming Zarkan battle group, Sarah allowed herself a grim smile. The real battle was about to begin, but not in the way either alien faction expected. The clash between Elysian and Zarkan forces was as brutal as it was beautiful. Beams of coherent energy lanced across space, while swarms of self-replicating nanites sought out enemy weaknesses. Massive cruisers exchanged salvos capable of cracking moons, their shields flaring with each impact. And through it all, the human ships flitted about, seemingly insignificant. To the aliens, they appeared to be little more than gnats, occasionally scoring a lucky hit, but largely staying out of the way of the real combatants. But appearances could be deceiving. "Initiate Phase 1. Sarah ordered, her mind interfacing seamlessly with the Achilles systems. Across the human fleet, NITAS-enhanced crews sprang into action. The boxy, unimpressive hulls of their ships began to shift and change. Panels slid away, revealing advanced weapon systems that had been hidden in plain sight. Hulls reconfigured, transforming the vessels into sleek, predatory shapes that sliced through space with unmatched agility. Before either the Elysians or Zarkan could react, the human fleet struck. Quantum-tipped missiles phased through enemy shields as if they weren't there. Gravity lances collapsed Zarkan ships in on themselves, while temporal disruptors caused Elysian bioships to age centuries in seconds. "What treachery is this?" Zephyria's outraged voice boomed across the battlefield. Sarah allowed herself a fierce grin. "No treachery, Admiral. Just humanity showing what we're really capable of." As chaos erupted across both alien fleets, the true genius of the human strategy became apparent. As chaos erupted across both alien fleets, the true genius of the human strategy became apparent. They weren't just fighting. They were dividing and conquering. NITAS-enhanced human operators interfaced directly with their ship systems, processing information and reacting at speeds that left their alien counterparts baffled. Earth vessels seemed to be everywhere at once, striking with surgical precision at critical weak points. "Epsilon Squadron, target the Zarkan command nexus," Sarah ordered. "Delta Team, disrupt the Elysian psychic network." Her commands, transmitted instantly through quantum entanglement, were executed with ruthless efficiency. A cluster of human ships dove through a hail of Zarkan fire, their adaptive hulls absorbing and redirecting the energy. They emerged unscathed, unleashing a barrage that shattered the enemy flagship's crystal lattice structure. Simultaneously, another group of Terran vessels emitted carefully modulated waves of exotic particles. The Elysian bioships, which relied on a complex psychic network to coordinate their actions, suddenly found themselves cut off from one another. Confusion reigned as the once unified armada devolved into individual units acting without cohesion. High Admiral Zephyria's voice crackled across the comms, a note of panic creeping in. Humans, what have you done? This battle was to be your trial by fire. Not this. Sarah's response was cool and collected. Consider this a demonstration, Admiral, of both our capabilities and our intentions. As she spoke, the Achilles brought its main weapon to bear. It was a device that defied conventional physics, harnessing the power of quantum fluctuations to create localized areas of altered spacetime. With a thought, Sarah activated it. A sphere of distorted reality blossomed between the Zarkin and Elysian fleets. Ships caught in its edge were twisted and warped, their crews experiencing time at radically different rates. Some vessels seemed to age centuries in seconds, while others were trapped in bubbles where time nearly stood still. This is Captain Sarah Martinez of Earth. Her voice rang out across all frequencies, in languages both aliens could understand. We came here not as pawns in your war, but as harbingers of its end. Stand down now, or face the full consequences of humanity's ingenuity. For a moment, silence reigned across the battlefield. The Zarkin and Elysian forces, which had been locked in conflict for millennia, found themselves united in shock and disbelief. How could these upstart humans, barely out of their own solar system, have turned the tide so decisively? Then, inevitably, panic set in. Zarkin ships began to retreat, their perfect formations dissolving into chaos. Elysian vessels, still reeling from the psychic disruption, struggled to mount any kind of cohesive response. What had begun as a routine battle in an endless war had turned into a rout, all thanks to the species both sides had dismissed as insignificant. But Sarah knew the fight was far from over. All ships, maintain battle readiness, she commanded. This is just the beginning. As the human fleet regrouped, the true scale of their victory became apparent. In less than an hour, they had achieved what neither the Zarkin nor the Elysians had managed in thousands of years, a decisive shift in the balance of power. Yet even as they celebrated this initial success, Sarah and her fellow captains knew that the hardest part was yet to come. They had revealed humanity's hand, demonstrated their capabilities to the galaxy at large. Now they would have to navigate the political and military fallout of their actions. The next few hours would be crucial. Earth's leaders would need to leverage this victory into a lasting peace, or risk becoming the target of both desperate alien empires. The fate of humanity, and indeed the entire galaxy, hung in the balance. As the Achilles took up a defensive position, Sarah allowed herself a moment of reflection. They had gambled everything on this operation, and so far, it had paid off beyond their wildest expectations. But the game was far from over. Send word to Earth, she ordered her communications officer. Tell them Operation Trojan Horse was a success, and let them know the real work begins now. As the quantum-entangled message sped towards home, carrying news that would change human history forever, Sarah turned her attention back to the starfield before her. Somewhere out there, the leaders of the Zarkin and Elysian empires were undoubtedly planning their next move. Whatever came next, humanity would be ready. They had stepped onto the galactic stage, not as bit players, but as a force to be reckoned with, and they had no intention of exiting quietly. The stars themselves seemed to gleam a little brighter, as if in acknowledgement of this new power that had arisen in their midst. Humanity's moment had finally arrived. The tide turns. The aftermath of humanity's sudden and decisive intervention spread across the galaxy like a shockwave. On countless worlds, in the grand halls of alien civilizations, and the humble dwellings of frontier colonists, all eyes turned toward the tiny blue planet that had so dramatically altered the course of the war. In the war room of the Zarkin Imperium's capital ship, Crystalline Dominion, Supreme Overlord Zixkar raged against his advisors. The living crystal of his form pulsated with barely contained fury. How? He demanded, his telepathic voice reverberating painfully in the minds of his subordinates. How did we miss this? These humans were nothing, less than nothing, and now they dared to challenge us. His chief strategist, a multifaceted being named Orcs, attempted to explain. My lord, it appears the humans have been deceiving us. For years, they have presented a facade of primitive technology, while secretly reverse engineering and improving upon both our designs and those of the Elysians. Zixkar's crystalline form shimmered dangerously. And our spies? Our deep cover agents? How did they not see this coming? There was a moment of uncomfortable silence before Quarax responded. It seems, my lord, that the humans have developed methods of shielding their true activities from our most advanced detection systems. Their neural interface technology, in particular, operates on principles we do not yet fully understand. Meanwhile, in the living chambers of the Elysian Confederation's ruling council, a similar scene played out. High Chancellor Elindra, her form a swirling mass of bioluminescent tendrils, addressed her fellow leaders. We offer them a chance to prove themselves, she said, her voice a melody of harmonics. And prove themselves they did, but not in the way we expected. These humans have shown themselves to be far more than simple allies or cannon fodder. Councillor Thaler, eldest of the Elysian leaders, pulsed with concern. They have upset the balance that has existed for eons. Neither we nor the Zarkan ever truly sought total victory. The war itself was a form of stability. But these humans, they seek to end it entirely. Elindra's tendrils writhed in agitation. And in doing so, they have made themselves the greatest threat our Confederation has ever faced. We cannot allow them to dictate the terms of galactic politics. Back on Earth, the mood was one of cautious elation. In the United Earth Defense Council's command center, Dr. Elena Reyes stood before a holographic display of the galaxy, watching as reports flooded in from every corner of known space. The Zarkan 7th Fleet has withdrawn from the Orion Arm, an aide reported, and we're receiving signals from a dozen previously neutral systems. They're requesting diplomatic relations with Earth. Elena nodded, her expression a mix of pride and concern. And the Elysians. General Aisha Khoury stepped forward, her uniform crisp despite the days of non-stop activity. They're maintaining a defensive posture, but we're detecting a massive buildup of forces near their core worlds. They're scared, Doctor, and scared empires are dangerous ones. Indeed, Elena mused. But fear can also be a powerful motivator for change. Captain Martinez, she said, turning to the quantum-linked hologram of the Achilles commander. What's the status of our fleet? Sarah's image flickered slightly as she responded. All ships reporting in at full capacity, Doctor. The NITS systems performed beyond our most optimistic projections. We're ready for whatever comes next. Elena allowed herself a small smile. Excellent work, Captain. Maintain your position and be prepared for any eventuality. I have a feeling both the Zarkan and the Elysians will be making their moves soon. As if on cue, alarms blared throughout the command center. Multiple hyperspace signatures detected. A sensor officer called out. It's the Zarkan Supreme Fleet. They're on a direct course for Earth. The room erupted into a flurry of activity as orders were shouted and battle plans hastily revised. But Elena remained calm, her eyes fixed on the holographic display. And so it begins, she murmured. The true test of humanity's resolve. In orbit around Earth, the human fleet took up defensive positions. The once hidden shipyards on the Moon and Mars sprang to life, launching waves of advanced fighters and support craft. On the planet's surface, powerful energy shields shimmered into existence, covering major cities and critical infrastructure. Aboard the Achilles, Sarah Martinez felt a surge of adrenaline as she interfaced with her ship's systems. The NITAS amplified her senses, allowing her to perceive the battlefield in ways no human ever had before. She could feel the approach of the Zarkan fleet, sense the energy build up in their weapons, anticipate their tactical maneuvers before they even began. All ships, battle formation Delta, she commanded, her thoughts instantly relayed to every vessel in the human armada. Remember your training. We've prepared for this moment. Today, we fight not just for Earth, but for the future of the entire galaxy. As the first wave of Zarkin ships dropped out of hyperspace, their crystalline forms gleaming in the light of Earth's sun, humanity steeled itself for the fight of its life. The element of surprise was gone. Now, they would have to prove that their earlier victory was no fluke. Energy beams lanced across space as the battle was joined. Human vessels darted between the lumbering Zarkin dreadnoughts, their adaptive hulls shrugging off hits that would have vaporized conventional ships. NIT's enhanced crews worked in perfect synchronization with their AI systems, outmaneuvering and outthinking their alien opponents at every turn. But the Zarkan were not to be underestimated. Millions of years of warfare had honed their tactics to lethal perfection. They fought with a cold, implacable fury, their crystal ships reconfiguring on the fly to adapt to human strategies. As the battle raged, watched by countless eyes across the galaxy, a new chapter in cosmic history was being written. The upstart humans, long dismissed as irrelevant, were holding their own against one of the mightiest fleets in existence. And somewhere in the depths of space, the Elysian High Command watched and waited, knowing that their own moment of decision was fast approaching. The war that had defined galactic civilization for eons was changing, evolving into something new and unpredictable. At the heart of it all was humanity, adaptable, innovative, and fiercely determined to forge their own destiny among the stars. The tide had turned, and the galaxy would never be the same again. A new dawn for humanity. The battle for Earth raged for what felt like an eternity, though in reality, it lasted just under 5 hours. 5 hours that would reshape the course of galactic history. As the conflict reached its crescendo, the quantum-entangled communications network lit up with an unexpected signal. The Elysian Confederation, which had been biding its time, made its move. High Chancellor Aelindra's bioluminescent form shimmered on view screens across the battlefield. Attention, forces of Earth and the Zarkan Imperium. The Elysian Confederation calls for an immediate cessation of hostilities. A new dawn for humanity. The battle for Earth raged for what felt like an eternity, though in reality it lasted barely 5 hours. The skies above the blue planet were alight with the fury of advanced weaponry, as human ingenuity clashed with Zarkan might. Aboard the Achilles, Captain Sarah Martinez orchestrated a symphony of destruction. The NITS system allowed her to process information at superhuman speeds, coordinating the efforts of the entire human fleet with unprecedented precision. Gamma Squadron, execute maneuver Theta 9. She commanded, her thoughts instantly relayed across the battlefield. Delta Wing, prepare to deploy chronomines on my mark. The human ships danced through the void, their adaptive hulls shimmering as they effortlessly evaded Zarkan fire. Earth's defenders struck with surgical precision, exploiting weaknesses in the crystalline structures of the alien vessels that the Zarkan didn't even know existed. On the crystalline dominion, Supreme Overlord Zixkar watched in growing disbelief as his mighty armada was slowly but surely dismantled. Impossible, he growled, his psychic voice tinged with fear for the first time in millennia. We cannot be defeated by these primitives. But defeat was precisely what the Zarkan faced. As the battle entered its final hour, the tide had unmistakably turned in humanity's favor. The once proud alien fleet was in disarray, their formations shattered, their mighty dreadnoughts reduced to drifting debris. Just as victory seemed within humanity's grasp, a new threat emerged. Massive hyperspace rifts tore open around the battlefield, disgorging the full might of the Elysian Confederation's armada. For a moment, both humans and Zarkan froze, uncertain of the Elysians' intentions. Had they come to finish off both weakened forces, to claim Earth for themselves? High Chancellor Aelindra's voice resonated across all frequencies. People of Earth, Imperium of Zarkan, hear me. For too long, our civilizations have been locked in a conflict without end. Today, we have witnessed something unprecedented, a power that could tip the scales decisively. There was a pause, heavy with the weight of history. Then, to the shock of all present, Alindra continued. We of the Elysian Confederation propose an immediate cessation of hostilities. Let us meet, not as enemies, but as equals, to forge a new path forward for our galaxy. The silence that followed was deafening. Centuries of ingrained hatred and suspicion warred with the undeniable reality of the situation. The war that had defined galactic civilization for eons stood on the brink of conclusion, all because of the species everyone had overlooked. On Earth, in the United Earth Defense Council's command center, Dr. Elena Rice felt a surge of hope. This was the moment they had been working towards, not just victory, but the chance for lasting peace. Captain Martinez, she said, her voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. The choice is yours. You're our eyes and ears out there. Do we trust this offer? Sarah took a deep breath, her mind racing as she processed the tactical data through her NITAS interface. After a moment that seemed to stretch into eternity, she made her decision. We trust it, she replied. But we trust in our strength more. Tell the Elysians we accept their offer of parley, but we do so from a position of strength. We've proven what humanity is capable of. Now it's time to show them our capacity for peace as well as war. Over the next few days, as the dust of battle settled, representatives from Earth, the Zarkan Imperium, and the Elysian Confederation convened aboard a neutral space station. The negotiations were tense, fraught with centuries of mistrust and conflicting ideologies. But at the heart of it all was humanity, adaptable, innovative, and possessed of a unique perspective that bridged the gap between the silicon-based Zarkan and the organic Elysians. Dr. Elena Reyes, now serving as Earth's chief diplomat, proved instrumental in forging compromises where none seemed possible. Her deep understanding of both alien cultures, combined with humanity's fresh approach to age-old problems, slowly but surely broke down barriers. After weeks of intense negotiation, a new galactic accord was struck. The Zarkan would retreat to their core systems, their drive for expansion tempered by the realization that they were no longer the undisputed masters of warfare. The Elysians would open their borders, sharing their biological advancements in exchange for access to new technologies. And humanity. Earth was recognized as a full and equal partner in this new galactic order. Human innovations in neural interfacing and adaptive technologies would be shared, ushering in a new era of advancement for all species. As the accord was signed, transmitted across the stars to worlds beyond counting, Captain Sarah Martinez stood on the observation deck of the Achilles, gazing out at the vast expanse of space. We did it, she murmured, a mixture of pride and awe in her voice. We really did it. Beside her, Dr. Reyes nodded, her eyes glistening with unused tears. We showed them what humanity is truly capable of. Not just our strength in battle, but our capacity for peace, for bringing people together. As they spoke, the first joint Zarkan Elysian human expedition was preparing to launch, its mission to explore the uncharted regions of the galaxy. It was a symbol of the new age dawning, one of cooperation rather than conflict. The war that had raged for millennia was over. The galaxy stood on the brink of a new era, one shaped by the vision and determination of the species that had, until so recently, been dismissed as insignificant. Humanity had taken its place among the stars, and the universe would never be the same again. As the Achilles prepared to leave the inaugural fleet of this new galactic alliance, Sarah felt a sense of boundless possibility. The 5-hour war that had changed everything was behind them. Ahead lay an infinite frontier, waiting to be explored. With a thought, Sarah engaged the Achilles drive. As the ship surged forward into the unknown, she allowed herself a smile. Whatever challenges awaited them out there in the cosmic dark, humanity would face them as they always had, with courage, creativity, and an unwavering belief in their own potential. The dawn of a new age had arrived, and humanity was ready to meet it head-on.